r/Askreddit by Reddit and chill. Redditors who have actually sailed through the Bermuda Triangle. Did you have any strange experiences? If yes, what happened? Unfortunately, the people with the best stories will never be heard from again. Dead men tell no tales. Jack Sparrow. I took a cruise to Bermuda, and one of the restaurants on the island was called Bona Bar. Very strange. I'm pretty sure that the Bermuda Triangle has shifted. It's no longer out to sea. All the weird shit is in Florida now. Florida is the source of the triangle's power. I have been through the Bermuda Triangle probably close to 100 times. It is right off the coast of Florida. And I've spent a lot of time out on those waters. I'm sure many people have been out there not realizing it. Never seen anything too weird outside of the occasional sunfish, bioluminescent algae, and floating rafts made by Cuban refugees. I wish I could say that crazy shit happens there, but sadly those are just myths. I wish I could say that crazy shit happens there, but sadly those are just myths. Yup. If you were to look at statistics, nothing unusual happens there. No more accidents or disappearances than would be expected. Nope. All 4 sides were completely fine. I thought there were only 3.5 sides. Does a cruise count? If so, then nothing really weird happened except for the fact that my phone connected to Italian data in the middle of the sea for a couple of minutes. I work on a cruise ship, and my FB ads are all in French because I'm logged into the ship's Wi-Fi and the ship was built in France. I've sailed through it. It is wholly unremarkable. Sorry to disappoint. My parents, whom I don't remember meeting, went to the Bermuda Triangle for their honeymoon. I had to let that sink into me. I lost my phone in Barbados and found it 3 days later. On the ship. Nearly back at New Jersey. I thought it was some Bermuda Triangle duckery, but it turns out it was in my husband's bag the whole time. Love the word duckery. The Bermuda Triangle itself is not a dangerous place. It has a few hotspots of dangerous places for good reason. It's true that people have gone missing there, but there is no supernatural cause. It's the fact that many tropical storms pass through the Bermuda. There are also some blue holes, which sometimes create whirlpools. Nothing that doesn't happen in many places. The Bermuda Triangle is a myth. It has been one of the busiest shipping routes for hundreds of years. So the reason so many ships went down there is just that so many more ships went through there. There's no particular danger about that area. When strange things happen anywhere in the ocean, we would just say that it's a weird thing that happened. But when the same things happen in the Bermuda Triangle, it becomes part of the story of that place. We should start assigning random shapes to random parts of the ocean and use AI to create a backstory for each. Reminds me of an old Ghostbusters, the cartoon, episode where they investigated the New Jersey parallelogram. Lol. My mum used to work on boats that went into the Bermuda Triangle daily, not through it though. Unfortunately, she doesn't have any cool stories. That's because your mom sent them all to their deaths. I was just in the triangle about 2 weeks ago. We were probably 40-50 miles off the coast of Florida and our navigational tools started going kinda crazy. These days almost everything is digital, so it's not like you see in the old videos with the compass spinning or anything. The main thing was that the heading of the ship, on the navigational tools, showed us spinning in a circle. Even though we were literally going straight ahead. The wave started picking up maybe 5 minutes after that, and then a massive creature pushed our ship over and the majority of the crew went down with the ship. I managed to grab onto a cooler and I'm still floating out here. Please send help. They had us in the first half, not gonna lie. Sail through it weekly working on the cruise ships. Nothing noteworthy has ever happened. South Asia on the other hand. Sailing around there is always interesting. Care to share? This comment will get lost because there's already 200 plus comments. But I actually live on the island. I work on a team that controls the triangle and it's usually non-eventful, but if you do something to piss us off, we're going to duck with you. I do actually live there though. It's a really pastel place with mild weather. Expert here. I'm currently clearly not an expert. On a cruise went through the Bermuda Triangle. I was 10ish. We hit a storm and choppy waves. The cable system played the same 10 minutes of The Great Escape on a loop for as long as we were in the storm. On all channels. I got seasick. My brother is in the merchant navy and has sailed all around the world pretty much. I asked him this when I was younger, 11-year age gap between us. And surprisingly, he reported no strange experiences. My favorite book as a kid was the Bible and the Bermuda Triangle. I was raised evangelical. It was so fascinating to me. And since it had Bible verses and stories throughout the book, I was convinced the Bermuda Triangle was a real thing. Shows how brainwashed I was. I still don't know where the book ever came from. I just found it in my house. I guess it reveals the kind of home in which I was raised. No one will prob see this. Lol. My own therapy, I guess. No. But the Bahamas are beautiful. You should take a cruise there from Florida if you ever get the chance. 10/10. The triangle goes from Miami to Puerto Rico to Bermuda. There are literally hundreds of small, medium, large and very large watercraft that sail those waters every day. Think of all the cruise ships that come and go in and out of Miami and the rest of the Florida East Coast. All those grin the Northeast to the Bahamas and the Caribbean. All the cargo from South America. From Europe and Africa. We're talking hundreds of ships. And then there's all the smaller stuff. Between Florida and the Bahamas alone, it's again a huge number of crafts in the water every day. If anything strange happened with any consistency, you'd see daily news of accidents. You don't. I suggest you install the app Flight Radar. At any point in time. There are tons of planes in this zone. Hundreds or thousands pass every day. If weird things happened here, it wouldn't be unknown. There are no mysteries. Only urban legends. I've flown over it multiple times on different trips. Nothing ever happened. I didn't die. They ran out of Pepsi, but they still had Coke. Uncle sailed there for about 25-26 years. Didn't notice anything. Me. I was on a cruise and as soon as we entered, I lost my dad. Bearing in mind I was 10. I looked for him everywhere and just went back to my room. The next day I found him looking out over the sea and he just acted like nothing happened. I flew through it, nothing weird. But did see a man-o-war at the place I was staying. The Bermuda Triangle is a rift to another dimension. Change my mind. Unless you mean seeing my father and his friends getting wasted, then no. I saw Joe. Upon reading these words I began remembering where I came from. Was on a cruise ship going through the BMT. We had no major issues so far. Which was good because my father-in-law was a bit afraid of cruising. It was then we saw some flashes in the sky while in the pool. Everyone got a bit concerned. I said, fatefully, I'm sure it's fine. If there was any danger, they would make an announcement. Well, bing ding bong. All passengers please head below deck as soon as possible. We went through a rough squall that was pretty epic to ride through. It was crazy because it went from clear skies to a massive storm, and then clear skies again in about an hour. I did on a cruise ship. I felt euphoric and a little dizzy the whole time. Might have been the alcohol. I've been on boats and flown over. Nothing ever happened. You'd think people wouldn't take a fiction magazine made for entertainment as fact, but you'd be wrong. I once hung out with some friends from Australia on a small boat, and when we were in the BT we came across what looked like a ghost ship. Ducked up. It looked ducking old. There was a weird person wearing a mask and ended killing all my friends. It turns out the masked person was me from the future. I looked out and there was a small boat approaching. It was us. This all seemed so familiar. I had to put a mask on to try to prevent us from boarding. It didn't work. Yeah, I met an alien and told me that I didn't pay rent to be on his island. So he sent me back via his ship. Nice guy. The Gulf Stream is a very dangerous place if there is any wind out of the north. It can turn nasty almost immediately and will create dangerous conditions. It probably is the cause of most of the mysteries where people don't come back. I got kinda sick from eating one of Guy Fieri's burgers. I swam in the Bermuda Triangle and a fish bit my penis through my swim trunks. Thankfully there wasn't much to bite. I've flown through the Bermuda Triangle. What should have been over a 12-hour flight ended up being only 7 hours. We arrived 5 hours ahead of schedule and a ton of gas left. Pilot also said there was a storm. But we didn't feel anything on the plane. Craziest experience I've ever had. This is probably going to get buried, but I was on a cruise with my parents and we passed through the tip of the Bermuda Triangle. It was almost immediately that the waves felt like they became extremely choppy and the boat was rocking aggressively. Myself, my parents, and countless other passengers on board got incredibly seasick within minutes of being inside the triangle. The craziest part was that as soon as we passed through the triangle, the water seemed completely calm. I've been on a dozen cruises. Each time I went through the Bermuda Triangle I developed horrible symptoms. I embarrassed myself dancing, spent too much money, woke up with headaches and nausea, and one time my husband sang Let It Go at the top of his lungs in the casino and had to be removed. It could be that we get the unlimited drink package, but I'm gonna blame it on the Bermuda Triangle. The pubic triangle has destroyed more man. I will for Christmas. I'll keep you posted. Too early. But I'm looking forward for stories. Let's just hope this doesn't get lost in you. I went to Bermuda recently. I learned why a lot of ships go missing and it's nuts. Part of the triangle lies on a fault line. Every now and then a small gas bubble will be released from the crevasse and start rising to the surface. As it rises, the water pressure decreases and the bubble will expand rapidly. So much so that what once was a bubble that was half the size of a dime at the bottom of the ocean is now the size of an aircraft carrier. Now if that bubble hits the surface close to a boat, it could cause massive waves and be very dangerous. If, however, that gas surface is under said boat, the boat then drops straight down into the newly created gap as water comes rushing in from every side, sinking it immediately. Sounds like my butt after eating a tub of gravy. Ducking, like and subscribe.